Hi, thanks for joining us again. So this is module 2, and this is where I show you how to use sound circles. In my reading kit, I have a supply pouch that I provide to parents and teachers, and I have some rectangles that I provide, and I have circles. So the circles I just get from Amazon, they have colors on both sides, so they can be reversed. And you just pick a color that you want to use for the vowels. I'll just say we'll use the orange for the vowels and we'll use the yellow for the consonants. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you how I do this. I do work a lot online, and it works online and it also works when I'm face-to-face with a student. So we're going to start with one-syllable words. And in my spelling book, I have 50 three-letter words. We call them CVC because they're consonant, vowel, consonant words. It's amazing how the students need this manipulation of, they need this tactile exercise in order to get the words. And building this foundation with the easier words is great, because when they get to the more complicated words and the two-syllable words, they're going to know these are the steps they need to do. So the first thing you want to do is have them repeat the word, and we'll say the word bed, bed. Then we're going to tap the word out with our fingers, b-e-d, bed. Then we're going to have them put the circles down in the order, and they say the sound. Now, I demonstrate, I model, and then they just follow with their own set. B, e, d. After that's down, we're going to point and say the sound again. B, e, d, bed. You need to know that the kids need to speak. How many times have you ever solved a problem just by sharing it with a friend? You're like, wow, I just answered my own problem, or solve my own problem. So speaking is dynamic in teaching kids to read. We want them to speak. And when I work with older students, I've worked with 5th graders, middle school, and high schoolers doing the same phonemic awareness drills. I let them know, you're not dumb. This is just where the brain has to start being trained. And I talk about we're making those pathways, those neural pathways in their brain to help build for learning sounds. I'm going to enlarge my screen. So I have exercise 1 right here. I'll show you. Look at all these words. So in exercise 1 with the 50 words, we can change the beginning letter sound or the ending letter sound. I do 3 a day for starters. So they said bed. So bed becomes fed. And they repeat, bed becomes fed. So we go, so the b goes away and the f comes down. And you can put your other circles up there. F, e, d, fed. Fed becomes wed. And they repeat, fed becomes wed. So the f goes away and the w comes down. Point and say it, w, e, d, wed. So then you take them all away, and we're going to do the new word. Say hat, hat. Let's tap out the sounds. H, a, t, hat. So we're going to pull the circles down. H, a, t. And then we're going to point. H, a, t, hat. Hat becomes bat. Hat becomes bat. So the h goes away, and the b comes down, and we point again. B, at, bat. Bat becomes mat. And so they repeat it. The b goes away and the comes down. At, mat. So this is helping their brain fire those synapses for sounds. We don't want to get them jumping right into writing. Writing's going to be soon. So this is for the sounds. It's the sound to the position of the word. Now you can use, when I first started doing this about 18 years ago, I would cut out squares from textured paper. and I would have the vowels be one color, consonants were a different color. And you could also use tiles that you get from Home Depot that has texture to it. You can even use chips, poker chips, which are big in different colors. So, but this makes the most sense for shipping to people, and the kids like these. So what I want to show you now, where do I get my words from? They're in my spelling book, which you can get, but also go to my free download of my app. It's CDSM, Syntron Dyslexia Solutions with Music. We haven't used the music yet. We use it later on, and I'll explain to you in the future modules. But you can download this app for free, and exercise 1 is a free download, and exercise 2. So exercise 2, we have, we call them CVCC words, consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant. So I'll show you what that looks like right here. So we have bask. It can change to mask or task, bend, lend, send, list, mist, fist, okay? So, for example, we'll say bask, bask. B, tap it out, B-A-S-K, bask. Pull the circles down, B-A-S-K. Every time you hear a sound, it gets a circle. And then we point, B-A-S-K, bask. Bask becomes task. Bask becomes task, so the B goes away and the T comes down. T-A-S-K, task. Task becomes last. Task becomes last. T goes away and the U comes down. U-A-S-T, last. Remember, take them away before you start the new word. Always tap out the sounds for the new word. So even the word bend, B-E-N-D. Here we go. B-E-N-D. Here we go, point to it. B-E-N-D, bend. One of the reading programs I used to train teachers on wanted us to overlap them for ND, for ND, NG, but that wasn't how the Orton Gillingham model trained me. So, you know, people do things differently. Whatever makes sense to you, do it for your student. Bend, bend becomes send. So the B goes away and the S comes down. You notice how I'm saying the sounds. Send. Send. Send becomes lend. Send becomes lend. So the S goes away and the U comes down. U-E-N-D. Lend. Wipe it all away for your next word. You want to say the sounds. They're going to see the letters in module 3. So what I wanted to show you was actually the next list, because these are all free downloads. Exercises 1, 2, and 3 are free downloads. So here we have smog, step, prop, trip. These are a little harder to do the substitutions, the first letter substitutions. So we're not going to do them. Okay. So for example, say smog, smog, sm, sm, ah, g. 4 sounds. Here we go. G. Point and say it. Smog, smog. Okay, erase it. Next word is step, and they repeat step. Tap it out. S-T-E-P. Step. Here we go. Pull the circles down. S-T-E-P. And then you point to each sound and say it. S-T-E-P. Step. Erase it. Go to the next word. And you can do about 5 words. Now it's funny because I had a 5th grader who, after we did this for quite a while, went, oh, the vowel's in the 3rd spot. And I had told him, what do you recognize? The vowel's in the 3rd spot. So sometimes you'll be teaching explicitly And their brain it's a little bit slow in the processing, but when they get it, it's so cool. Anyway, so what I want to show you, so exercise 1, 2, and 3 are in my free download. Now, the app itself is only $9.99 a month if you want it for the other lessons. I do want to show you some syllables. So here we go with 5, exercise 5. Until, nutmeg, magnet, mascot, album. This is how I teach syllables, okay? So we take the rectangle away. We call these sound rectangles. And then I have these scoops. These are the Orton Gillingham scoops. I love them. So every syllable gets a scoop. And I teach my students that every syllable needs a vowel. So the first word is until, and they repeat it. So I use 2 hands. First hand, n, t, I, o, until. So here we go. Vowels are yellow. N, can you see that okay? And then till, t, I, o. And then we point. N, t, I, o, until. Next word is going to be, say, nutmeg. Nutmeg. N, t, e, g. Nutmeg. Okay, here we go. N, t, e, g. And then we point to it, g. Some of my students, I needed to have these instructions printed out, and I put them on a little clipboard that they could read, because you want them to be learning the steps all by themselves and having it be automatic. So they point, t, g, nutmeg. It was funny, I had one student, some of these dyslexic students are really creative. Is it wrong for a student to just pile the chips like this and just go like this, boom, 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 you know, be creative like that? I try to have them put the chips up there so that they see the movement. Okay. Of course, you're going to pick your battles. If I have a student that can do vowels in one hand, consonants in the others, that hasn't prevented them from learning this, but it's nicer when you can get everybody doing the same thing. So another thing I wanted to show you, if you have a word like witness. So in exercise 6, I've already taught less, ness, cess, and tress, always end in double S. So we could say witness, ness. You could use one finger for ness. You can use one finger for the suffix. You can use one finger for the prefix. Like if you said, we did until, till. I've had some students that preferred to just go until. Just be consistent with your students to make your teaching easier. And some students just need to still sound out each one of those sounds. But some of the older kids that will have like the word stinking, you want to focus on the word stink. Ing is your suffix. So ink, or sorry, because the ink is really, you hear the nk, so it's ink, and ing, stinking, flunking, ing. So when they write those, they're going to pull the circles down for each sound. We do teach syllable types, and we do teach compound words, which they call catfish words. And sometimes you could talk about that when you pull these down. What I want to show you is when we have a sneaky E or silent E, like the word rake. So getting back with my rectangle, say rake, a, k. It has 3 sounds. But I've already taught the student the vowel consonant E syllable type, okay? So here we go. A, K. And I put sneaky E. We don't hear it, but there's a sneaky E. And then I also have these Unifix cubes. You can get those on Amazon. Sometimes I like to double up and put this. I'm going to put let's go, yeah, I'll let the vowel, usually the vowels are green, but for this purpose, it'll match. And the white Unifix cube represents that silent E. So here we go. A, K. There's a silent E there. Okay. Rake, and then we could have race. He ran the race. So, and you're already doing a new concept. So let's just tap it out. A, S. Okay, so we're going to clean that slate. Here we have A, S. And we have a sneaky E, silent E. A, S. A, S. Race. So we talk about the job of the E in a lot of them. And then I think there was, if I were to do my app has 28 spelling exercises, and I have a student who has been with me over 100 hours, and she's at exercise 18 right now. So anyway, when I get to the other exercises that are further down the road, I give my students a pre-test, because a lot of the exercises are review of what they've already learned. I give them a pre-test, and I listen to, I have a web app. So that's what I give people who go through my training, is a web app. So they listen to the web app, and they skip every other word if they need to, and they write the word, because in my app, the music plays in the left ear and the spelling exercises play in the right ear. When they do a pre-test, and I don't do this with the early exercises, only after they've been with me 50, 75 hours or so, I give them the pre-test, and then we only do the circles and the scoops with the words that they've missed. So we don't want to put them through the whole exercise, all these exercises with all the words, only if they've missed them, to give them that reinforcement. So that's the end of this second module. Thank you. And the third module, we're going to start using the plastic letters. So I look forward to you joining me again next time. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I thank you for being here. I hope this has been educational for you. Bye-bye now. I'm Dr. Marianne Cintron. You can find me at meetmarianne.com or dyslexia-solutions.com. Bye-bye.